just Billy Barron, the player of the year, and the ball's in his hands. He's a tremendous guard, and that always gives you an opportunity in a tournament. Best guards usually win the championship.
Okay, in our one-on-one for this first men's quarterfinal, we're talking about combinations for both sides.
And for Ryder, it's a combination of two seniors. You don't see that every day in college basketball. But Anthony Miles and Danny Stewart combined for over 30 a game. And Danny Stewart put his team on his back in the first round win against Monmouth, scoring 25 for the Iona.
Here's a look at our coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports, home of the Rock, beginning with the head coach for the Ryder Bronx, Kevin Baggett, a 1989 graduate of St. Joseph's University, in his second season as head coach with the Bronx. Natalie attired as always. And there is the man who was named MAAC Coach of the Year last night, Tim Cluse, in his fourth season as head coach of the Gales. He's the first Iona coach to win 20 or more games in each of his first 4 seasons in charge in New Rochelle, New York. David Lowry doing the honors inside the Iona huddle as we take a look at the season series. Back on February 21st in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, Iona won a tight ball game and then a little more one-sided last weekend in New Rochelle.
Well, certainly Iona got out to an early lead. They were up by 22 in the first half, yet Ryder was able to come back and tie it up in the second half. The Gales had big leads in both of those games that they let slip away, yet they were able to come away with the win both times.
Iona comes in having won 12 of its last 13 games, Rob. 20-9 overall, 17-3 in the regular season. In conference play, the #1 seed here this weekend. And if you didn't know by now, Iona likes to get up and down the floor, and they can put on a show offensively.
And the way they shoot the ball from beyond the three-point line is really mind-boggling. And the way they don't turn the basketball over, despite playing at such a fast speed, they turned it over at less than 11 turnovers per game. That's the best number in the back, and again, one of the top 10 numbers in the country.
Manhattan head coach Steve Masiello says of Iona, it's the best passing team he has ever seen.
And what's interesting is in the 4 years that Tim Cluse has been here, that's been the case all along. Certainly Scott Machado led the country in assists a couple of years ago. You change the pieces, it's the same play. They distribute the basketball, beat you from 3, and offensively score the basketball.
Quarterfinal Saturday is underway here in Springfield, Mass. Gary Tracy, Kevin Ferguson, Gary Pacino are officials for game number 1 of 4 with Rob Kennedy. And we'll be joined also by Mitch Bonaguro roaming the sidelines here this afternoon and this evening for us as Anthony Miles turns the ball over.
And clearly an unforced turnover. Williams at the point of that zone at 6'7" gives him good length at the top of that zone defense.
So Iona came here to Springfield not needing to bring their garnet or gold uniforms. They can go white the whole way as the number 1 seed. Ryder in its road cranberry as the number 8 seed.
And one of the things talking earlier today with Kevin Baggett, he said, I'm going to switch defenses up more than we have all season long. In each of their first 2 meetings against Iona, they played mostly man. He said, I don't know why I would think if we played mostly man that something was going to change after losing to him twice in the regular season.
Corner 3 for Williams. Good patience in the half-court set that time for the Gales.
Yeah, they certainly can spread you out. It's not 1 or 2 guys that can shoot it from deep. They've got 4 guys that are terrific from beyond the arc.
Valentine couldn't handle the pass. And the held ball, possession arrow, goes to Iona.
Well, as you said, good patience, trying to find the open look, dribble penetration. You kick it out to Williams. Williams 5th best in the MAAC at 42% on the season. And Doug, they've got 4 guys in the top 9 in the conference and 3-point makes per game. I guarantee you there's not another team in the country that's got 4 in the top 9 in their conference.
English turns it over. Valentine taken out from behind by Williams, and he'll shoot a pair. Iona also has 2 guards in the top 5 in the conference in assists per game, and Sean Armand and A.J. English.
Yeah, their offensive numbers just blow you away.
So Valentine at the free throw line. A young man with a bright future for the Ryder Bronx. I was talking with Ryder assistant coach John Brady before the ball game and talked about the fact that while he has a little too much movement in that jump shot right now, they work on it, and he really likes his future over the next 3 years with the Bronx.
Yeah, he had a very good freshman year, a bit of a disappointing sophomore season, but you're right, they're still high on him. He's got to really commit himself in this offseason to work on that outside shot and become a little bit more aggressive.
Also one of their top defenders. Armand, good ball fake, lost it on the way up. Trey Bowman went to save it. Turns out it was good that he didn't try to save it because they say it's Iona basketball. There's a look at Sean Armand, first team all-conference again this year, averaging nearly 18 points per game. And this is Bowman, the Penn State transfer, and here's Armand, 6'5" senior from Brooklyn. And again with the shot clock under 10, the Gales attack. And again they find a corner 3. Bowman gets the bounce.
Well, when you shoot it that well, you get bounces like that. Good dribble penetration again that frees up the open 3. So they've got 2 good looks from 3, Doug, but it's been off dribble penetration with paint touches off the bounce.
Bowman picks up the personal foul. Earlier this week, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference announced its All-MAAC first team, and Billy Barron last night announced as the player of the year. But there are the 2 Gales on the first team, Armand and English, along with George Beeman of Manhattan and Ike Azotam, the top rebounder in the conference this year for the Quinnipiac Bobcats. Jimmy Taylor, a member of the all-rookie team with his first 2. Freshman from Branford, Florida, makes it 6-4. Another open look from that same corner. This time Bowman puts it straight through.
Now, one of the problems if you play them with the half-court trap the way that Ryder's doing here, little 3/4 court trap, they pass the basketball so well, Doug, and then shoot it from 3 over top. That's a tough combination to try and hit them with that 3/4 court press.
Taylor from deep. Long rebound comes down to Valentine. Ryder down 5, resets. Anthony Miles, one of the seniors trying to extend his career here this afternoon. This another one, Danny Stewart, and a blocking foul on the spin. And that'll go against Mike Poole, the senior from Rosedale, New York. Well, in Thursday's first round game, Rob, Danny Stewart, who's not necessarily the most verbal guy when it comes to his teammates, huddled up his teammates when they were losing by 8 to Monmouth and said, quote, "I'm not ready to go home." And he didn't just say it, he went out and backed it up.
Well, and Kevin Baggett said that was great for him to see, because at times Danny Stewart has been a leader, but it's been mostly by example. And he said, you know, sometimes you got to have the vocal leader, and sometimes your teammates have to hear it from one of the players and not just the coach.
David Lowery with his first touch, able to put it up and in.
And he gets isolations in the post because you got to spread 4 perimeter defenders out to the three-point line to guard all their shooters. And Lowery, one of the best interior scorers in the league.
Well, sure, he's the most efficient, best field goal percentage in the conference, and he does not shoot three-pointers. He's a terrific rebounder as well. And Sean Armand just went down to the floor. And a stoppage in play as Sean lays here in front of us. Valentine was called for the foul as Armand relaces his sneaker. Still not sure what occurred.
Yeah, he went down right in front of you and I, but the play was heading up the other way, so I didn't see it.
But he appears to be okay. Maybe just his shoelace a little loose. But good to see Sean back up. And a foul called against Ryder, and so A.J. English will inbound along the baseline. English has it rattle out. Stewart pulls down the rebound. Stewart, foul line jumper, no. And he's going to be whistled for the foul. And Stewart's had a marvelous career at Ryder. He currently stands 3rd all-time in rebounds. Of course, Jason Thompson of the Sacramento Kings is the all-time rebounder in Ryder history, but Stewart number 3. He was rookie of the year in what seems like just yesterday. Goes so quickly. Armand, wide open 3. Bowman. Travel. Another open look for Iona. Didn't knock that one down, but they have had the range from beyond the arc. Up 7 early.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, match. Oh, baby.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Division I basketball returns to Springfield this March. The MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, where somebody could become an NCAA champion. March 6th through the 10th, Mass Mutual Center in Springfield.
Gets it off from midcourt.
Get your tickets for the MAAC Basketball Championship and get into the action
All the way to the finish.
at Ticketmaster.com, Massachusetts.com, or at the Mass Mutual Center box office. Presented by Mass Mutual Financial Group.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, match. Oh, baby.
The 2014 MAAC Basketball Championship is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. And by Anaconda Sports. Home of the Rock is proud to sponsor the MAAC. There's a look at the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame just down the road from where we sit here in downtown Springfield. Beautiful facility, redone just a few years ago. And they've been a tremendous partner to the conference over the last 3 years for this tournament, Rob.
And certainly the MAAC experience, and that's there the entire year. As well tonight, they'll have the honor roll dinner back over at the Hall of Fame. So you're right. One of the big reasons why they brought the event up here was the ability to partner with the Basketball Hall of Fame, and that partnership will continue as the MAAC is the host of one of the preseason exempt tournaments with the Hall of Fame tip-off.
The 8th-seeded Ryder Bronx taking on the top-seeded Iona Gales here in the first of our 4 men's quarterfinals in Springfield. And Rob, with a different format to the tournament this year because of the 11 teams in the conference. Dana Stewart has the ball slip through his fingers. The first-round games were played Thursday, and they were able to take yesterday off. So that's a great benefit for these underdog teams here today.
Yeah, maybe not such a big advantage today, but if we're able to win a couple of games as the tournament moves on, it's a huge advantage. Having to win 4 games in 4 days is really asking a lot.
Now, Kevin Baggett and his staff took advantage of yesterday to just take it easy. Took the team to see the movie 300, Rise of an Empire. Apparently his seniors chose that. It's not necessarily what I would have chosen, but Coach Baggett said that the guys loved it, he enjoyed it, and it was a good thing to get away. And then they came back to the arena last night and enjoyed watching the Ryder women's team advance to the semifinal round somewhat unexpectedly. So it was a nice leisurely day yesterday for the Bronx. Armand with a burst of speed, and he's fouled on his way to the basket, and he'll be shooting 2 free throws. There's Coach Baggett. On the regular season finale against Ryder, Armand nearly went for a triple-double. He had 19 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists.
A pretty good day at the office, and that speaks to how he has evolved his game. When he got here as a freshman, he was a designated hitter. When he came in, knocked down threes, and certainly that's still the biggest strength of his game for Tim Cluse, but he has expanded his game, can put the ball to the floor, get by people, has really worked hard to become a good all-round player.
And he's always played with a dominant point guard his first 3 years and didn't need to probably expand like he has this year. You know, he had Scott Machado, who went on to play in the NBA when he was a freshman, and then Momo Jones as well. And so this is the year where he has stepped up especially. And it's amazing what he and A.J. English have been able to accomplish.
And remember, A.J. English not, as you mentioned, necessarily a pure point guard, but once they put the basketball in his hands, this team became a totally different team and has played such great basketball coming down the stretch.
And as Iona fans will tell you, I mean, A.J. was just beginning to blossom last year when he went down with the injury, and he could have grown into an even bigger part of last year's team that won the MAAC championship and went on to the NCAA tournament for the 2nd straight year.
Yeah, he's an example of a guy who got hurt, had the wrist surgery in January. Had not been for that, he would have certainly been an all-rookie selection.
Scoring drought now for Ryder, more than 3 minutes long. They've missed their last 8 from the floor.
The problem is the Gales don't miss many on this end, so you got to play good defense against the Gales, but Doug, you got to play good offense because you cannot stop them from scoring, and so you've got to be able to match some of their offensive firepower.
Well, the Iona teams that we've seen over the years, Rob, and even before Tim Cluse got here 4 years ago, where would you rank this team in terms of pure offensive talent and depth of talent?
Well, now that Tim Cluse has gotten everybody onto the floor and got guys in different roles, like look at what David Lowry's been able to do now as the 6th man over the last 13 games. How about 12-1, the 1 loss in overtime at Manhattan. So this team, I think they've got as many offensive weapons as any of those Iona teams. Now, a couple of those teams back in the day had some guys that were certainly NBA caliber players like Stevie Burt. Gary Springer, before his injury, was a guy that looked like he was a surefire NBA star. But this team, with their ability to shoot it, I think this is the best collection of shooters that the Gales have been able to put on the floor.
Anthony Miles for 3 to break the drought. Meanwhile, Kevin Baggett says his team is the best collection of shooters he's ever had.
Yeah, the problem is they just haven't guarded this year, where last year they guarded the basketball. The teams have been able to score it way too easy against the Bronx. 10th in the league in field goal percentage defense and 11th in three-point field goal percentage defense.
Armand from NBA range, no. These are the two most efficient three-point shooting teams in the conference, both just a touch under 40% coming into the tournament.
Well, that's a big-time move there by the freshman Jimmy Taylor to get deep into the lane but stay on balance with a nice pull-up.
Bowman finds a crease, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Well, you see these two teams not only tops in the MAAC, but two of the best in the country. Both just a tick under 40%. Creighton with their great shooters, led by McDermott, who certainly looks like he's the odds-on favorite to be the National Player of the Year. There's another three-point shooter, Tommy Pereira, checking in. So both these teams, they've got a lot of guys, and if you're going to shoot it at 40%, it can't be one or two guys. You got to have multiple three-point threats, and both these teams do.
Trey Bowman now with 8 points to lead all scorers. Here goes Miles off to Stewart. The pass a bit behind him. So what could have been an easy two turns out to potentially be a turnover.
Yeah, right decision, put it in the right place, just made a bad pass. So he threw it behind him.
Well, this Rider senior class, we just see Tommy Pereira come into the game a moment ago, but Miles, Stewart, and Pereira have been very close for their 4 years together on the Lawrenceville, New Jersey campus, and they've been through a lot, and they just want to continue their seasons. And you know, you played Division I basketball, Rob, how quickly it goes by, and you think about it coming in. Well, 4 years can be a long time, but before you know it, you're at your last ever MAAC tournament, hoping like heck you can make it to Monday.
And there's nothing like the finality of when it's over. When you lose that last game as a senior, I don't care if it's in high school or in college, it's certainly, you can't get it back.
Here's Zed Sadler, sophomore point guard from Detroit. Inside to Stewart, goes to the left hand. Lowry with the rebound.
And they rebound and run. You got to get back in transition.
Foul on the rebound. And it goes against Mike Poole. What makes David Lowry such a good rebounder? He doesn't jump particularly well. Isn't a big physically imposing guy really. But he's just a terrific rebounder.
Well, one of the things is he's got great hands. And you saw it on that play with the spin in the lane and a great pass out. But what he does is he carves out space. You don't have to rebound above the rim, and certainly he doesn't do that a whole lot, but he does clear space.
He's the fourth leading rebounder in the league, but when you get him at his best, when he's motivated and into the game as he's been for the last month and a half, he's as good a rebounder as there is in the league. Here comes Lowry, going to try and go coast to coast. Sadler to the corner. Pereira for three. That was halfway down and came out. Lowry hustling back for the rebound.
You got to make some of those so that you don't allow the Gales to get in transition like this.
There's the range on the jump shot for Sean Armand, and Ryder calls timeout. Coach Baggett incensed that Valentine didn't get out on Armand.
Well, we say he's got NBA range. Well, on this court, because of the NBA three-point line, as the D-League team from Springfield, the Springfield Armor play here, so you're going to see his NBA range. He missed his shot at one range, and he's not towing the NBA three-point line there, Doug. He's a good 2 feet behind him.
Yeah, his heels were on the Mass Mutual Center logo. And we've got a number of guys who we'll be seeing here this weekend who can challenge that with the big center court logo that we have for the MAAC Basketball Championships. Between Armand and Billy Barron for Canisius, we have guys who could have range out to the center logo. There's no question about it. And there's a good look at the home of the MAAC Championships for the last 3 years. And Iona has cut down the nets once and would love to do it again. They wound up falling short 2 years ago, but did get an at-large bid into the NCAAs. And then last year, won the championship. Danny Stewart up above the rim.
Well, and that's how you have to finish against the pressure defense. They missed a couple of threes at the back end, attacking that pressure D. That time Stewart left no doubt.
Now Stewart defending on Lowry. Iona up 9 with a basketball. Lowry.
There are those great hands again. He just snatches everything around him.
Scramble for the ball. Tavon Sledge into the game, comes up with it. English left the jump shot short, and there's Danny Stewart surrounded by white shirts and able to get it out to Sadler.
And they've got numbers.
Miles for 3.
Well, they've responded off the timeout, scoring 5 straight.
Miles now with half a dozen, pulls Ryder back within 6. And by the way, Danny Stewart now the number 2 all-time rebounder in Ryder history, with only Jason Thompson out ahead of him.
And if the only guy you're looking up at is Jason Thompson, you're in pretty good company.
10 to shoot. English. The Bronx continue to come at you. How about the finish by Valentine?
One of the things that Kevin Baggett talked about, he said, even though we lost both games in the regular season, the fact we got down big and fought our way back, he said, our guys know we can compete against them, and they're not afraid to get out and run with them in transition. A lot of teams will try to slow it up against the Gales. The Bronx are going to try and push it given the opportunity.
And with that, Rob, they have scored the last 7 points, have the Bronx, and made it a ball game once again, 20-16. And if there's one thing we've seen over the years with Iona, no lead is too big a lead because they do allow other teams to get on runs.
Now, but playing at that pace, there's a lot of possessions, a lot of opportunities to get back in the game.
Gales coming back onto the floor with 10:16 remaining in the first half. Iona won its regular season finale against Ryder 97-81. As mentioned, Armand nearly had a triple-double, but A.J. English was doing his thing. 25 points. The MAAC and ESPN have very exciting news for MAAC sports fans. ESPN has launched a dedicated MAAC channel available on the Watch ESPN app and Apple TV and Roku devices. Bowman. He was fouled by Junior Fortuna. Step away as Riders riding a hot streak. 7 straight points to draw within 4.
If you want to be in medicine, start practicing. If you want to be in accounting, start crunching numbers. If you want to score points, get in the game. If you want to make a difference, serve others. Canisius students are many things. Eager to learn, capable of taking on an ever-changing world. The only thing they're not is content to sit still.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Everybody knows that.
Well, did you know that when a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, it does make a sound?
Oh boy! I'm falling! Everybody look out! Oh!
Little help here?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you. Well, you know.
Anybody?
You must do the thing you think you cannot do.
The mind is everything. What you think, you become.
It is not best that we should all think alike.
He who learns but does not think is lost.
The main purpose of life is to live rightly, think rightly, act rightly.
Oh, the things you could think of if only you try.
We're back in Springfield, Massachusetts. Iona's lead has been cut from 11 down to 4. And we send it over to Mitch Bonaguro with the Ryder head coach, Kevin Baggett.
Kevin, kids really responded to your 30-second timeout. Kind of what you say to them in that timeout?
Well, we just need to make sure we got back. We do a better job communicating, pointing out guys, especially the shooters. We know how good of a shooter Sean Armand is and A.J. English. We just got to do a better job getting back, and then we got to get the ball out of the net and get it back on top of those guys as well.
Kevin, out of the timeout, you went to the 2-3 zone. Is that something we can see for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I think we got to do a better job of mixing it up, trying to keep these guys off balance and not giving them a steady diet of any one thing in particular.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you,
All right, thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Coach. MAAC fans, make sure to head to the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame to see the MAAC exhibit. The MAAC Experience displays all 11 MAAC institutions and highlights of their basketball performances over the years, including a new exhibit highlighting the great MAAC coaches in history. And what a list that is just from the Iona side of things. You've had a number of terrific coaches, including my partner's uncle, Pat Kennedy.
And certainly Tim Cluse has kept that tradition alive, took over for Kevin Willard, who did a great job of rebuilding the program. Jeff Rulin, who had great success at Iona as well. He's here in the building scouting today. And certainly when you think of coaches, though, at Iona, the guy that pops up, rightfully so, as number one is Jimmy Valvano. And one of the reasons why Valvano won so much, he had that guy playing for him inside. A high school All-American and certainly one of the greatest players in Iona history. Guy that could rebound the basketball and outlet it like nobody's business.
Yeah, Jeff Rulin went on to be an NBA All-Star and a longtime head coach at Iona. Did you have an opportunity to say hello to Rules before the game? I know you said you're going to go try to see him.
No, but I just texted him that I'll see him at halftime.
Gotcha. Okay. We'll catch up with Rules and find out what's going on with one of the all-time greats in Iona history. Pereira tries to continue the run for Ryder. Junior Fortunat short on the putback, and Bowman pulls away the rebound.
I think it's hard for people to understand how good of a player he was in high school. And he chose the Iona Gales over the likes of Kentucky. Imagine that happening in today's day and age.
Probably not. But Jim Valvano had a way about it.
Yes, he did.
Very persuasive. He persuaded a lot of talent to come to New Rochelle. Williams with the layup, and that breaks the 7-0 run. Good answer at the other end by Khalil Alford, sophomore from Raleigh, North Carolina, just into the ball game.
And against the Gales, you're going to get in a game of runs because they score it so quickly. Not only do they average 84 a game, but they string together 7, 8, 10-point runs. And one of the keys is always to neutralize them and not allow those runs to get out to be like a 13-1 run or a 15-0 run.
Good defense by Ryder in the zone. Coach Bonaguro was talking during the break. Still, Iona makes them pay with Sean Armand. And Coach Baggett is asking why weren't there any traveling violations there, as the net is stuck, but did not get a call. There's the winningest coaches in the history of Iona basketball. Jim McDermott up top, 48-73. Stay one place that long, you're probably going to be number one, but that's a tremendous list from top to bottom.
And McDermott as well had a stint as the MAAC commissioner. And as we said, Jeff Rulin taking the Gales to a couple of NCAA tournaments. Pat Kennedy, Jim Valvano. I'll tell you what, Tim Cluse, if he stays long enough, he's got a chance to keep going up. And certainly the Gales are hoping he's going to stay for a while, as they announced just the other day that they've extended his contract through the 2019 season.
Associate Commissioner Ken Taylor's on the job. That net will be down in no time.
But he's not jumping up to get it, let me tell you that.
Give me a ladder, I can do it.
He's got no ups. But right now, he's looking for a ladder, and I don't think he's found one quick enough.
Well, to give us an opportunity to tell you about the MAAC being on Facebook. Make sure to like the MAAC today. Now they've got to rouse the staff here at the Mass Mutual Center to come up with a ladder. Or, yeah, let's see what they're going to come up with. You know, one thing I was observing in that last possession, Junior Fortunat on the backside of that zone is really having to cover a lot of ground. We're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk about that. 27-18, Iona with a 9-point lead.
Well, look what the wind blew in. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Man, match. Oh, baby.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Oh, brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
Well, look what the wind doing. Putting the team back together. And we need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Man, match. Oh, baby.
Iona's a team that can fill it up from the outside, leading the MAAC in three-point percentage, and they're doing it here this afternoon, Rob.
And they make over 10 a game, which is the best number in the country coming in. And when you're that good, sometimes you get bounces like that. They move the basketball so well, and they spread 4 guys out from beyond the three-point line, so it's really hard to concentrate on one guy. That last switch right there by Armand hung the net. Took us a while to get it down, but we're back and ready to go. Gales 5 of 11 from beyond the 3. That's what you expect from them. Ryder as well coming in at 40% from beyond the three-point line, has not shot it as well so far.
And with that, where you can spread the floor, as we were talking about before we went to break, a guy like Junior Fortunat on the backside of that zone. I mean, he's 6'10", he's a big guy. He's got a lot of ground to cover because they've already given up a number of corner threes here today. Bowman with the steal, up and over Stewart for 2.
And when you turn it over, they're coming right at you.
Easy to forget about Trey Bowman a little bit, but he averages over 13 per game. He's already got 11 here this afternoon.
And to me, the league coaches forgot about Trey Bowman. I thought he was a guy that should have been on an all-league team. I think he had a terrific senior season, averaging over 13 a game, at 6 games at 20 or more. Sometimes I think people think, well, you know what, they've already got 3 guys on an all-league selection, and you put other guys on to make everybody feel well. I think Trey Bowman was a guy that deserved to at least be on the 3rd-team all-league.
Trey told me earlier this season his greatest memory from last year's championship run and trip to the NCAA tournament was the look on his coach's face here in this building after they got back into the locker room following the opportunity to cut down the nets. Priceless moments that happen here and only here at tournaments such as this around the country. Once again, wow, they make you pay quickly. Williams in the blink of an eye with 2 more.
Miss or make, they're taking it and they're rushing the ball up the floor. You go see the Gales practice, and there's a clock every time. And if you don't have the ball up the floor within 6-7 seconds, Tim Cluse is all over you. It's not by chance that they score it as well as they do. Led the country each of the last 2 years in scoring. This year they're in 4th, but scoring it at 4 more per game, right?
Yeah, they've been trending up as the season has gone on. Valentine, 2-point shot. One official said 3, one said 2. They will check it at the next stoppage of play, but I do think it was a 2. You know, we play at facilities like this where you do have that NBA or D-League line. Then you got 3 lines, and if you're around the top of the key, I can easily see where you might get confused, and I do think that was a 2. Shot blocked by Fortunat. Here comes Valentine. Tries the left hand again. That's going to be Ryder basketball after Williams tried to save it, but only found the backside of the backboard.
The other thing with the 3 lines, Doug, is the white line, the hardest one to see for the officials, is the 3-point line for us. And so the NBA line is in black, and the high school and women's line is in black as well.
But the white line, for our purposes, the only one you're worrying about. Miles tries the left corner, and he finds the range again. He'd been successful twice from the right corner. Now 9 points from the senior from Dover, Delaware.
So it's one senior who carried the load in the first round. That was Danny Stewart. And so far it's his senior partner, Anthony Miles, that's keeping the Bronx in the ball game.
Sledge, Bowman, Williams, Lowry, and Armand on the floor for the Gales, the regular season champs, having gone 17-3 in conference play. Lowry's fouled from behind by Khalil Thomas.
Here are the great hands again of David Lowry. Even though it's tipped initially, he's able to go corral it. And much like you asked, how does he get himself so many rebounds? Just by creating space and using his body. Same way he's able to post it up.
Only 6'9", 255, a junior from East Orange, New Jersey, who has finally found a home. I mean, he bounced around. And in this day and age, a lot of high school and college players move around prep school and junior college. And Lowry had a journey that rivaled any. But over the last couple of years, he seems to have settled in nicely at Iona.
He'd get off to a strange start of this season based on what he did in the half a season that he played last year. Guys expected huge things. He was a preseason first team All MAAC selection, got off to the slow start, but then Tim Kloos challenged him, took him out of the starting lineup, and I don't know if Tim Kloos knew how David was going to respond to that. Well, he responded great. Been playing terrific basketball coming off the bench in the last 12 games. One of the reasons the Gales have been so good.
Final 5:35 of the first half, and quarterfinal number 1 here at the MAAC Championships. Danny Stewart off the mark. Here come the Gales again. A.J. English back on the floor at the point. Lowry puts his shoulder down. He and Stewart came together, and it's Stewart who picks up the blocking foul.
And he is a tough matchup. He's got a funky basketball skill set and a funky body to go with it.
We've yet to see it, but he loves to spin back.
Yep.
Drive with the right hand, then spin to the basket. And so if you're a defender, you don't know which way he's coming.
No, and you're right. And he gets himself, they spread those 4 guys out at the perimeter, and he gets into the lane. He's looking to spin, half spin, and he keeps you off balance.
There is Lowry. Again, carving out space and a chance for 3.
And that's why you never save the basketball under your own basket. A mistake by the senior Danny Stewart. Better off taking the ball out of bounds or throwing it down to the other end. Instead, it becomes an assist.
Stewart's going to have to go out, having picked up that personal foul. On David Lowry's college debut last season, having not played organized ball in over a year, against a very good LaSalle team, he went for 21 points and 14 rebounds. First possession, put it on the deck, spin move bucket.
And it's not as if he was sitting out practicing with the team, as you said. I mean, he just stepped right in. Yeah.
But wasn't in great shape.
Nope. Just shows you how darn talented he is.
Yeah. Now, he was recruited by a number of big boy programs and certainly shows that skill set. How about junior Fortunato? That is what has been missing for this Rider team all year. That sort of presence inside.
He caught both you and I off guard. But you're right, that was a terrific finish with his left.
And the block shot. Number 4, the Bronx. Valentine, though. Pocket pick by Sledge. There's Fortunato filling it up. And all the while, Iona coach Tim Kloos waving his arms saying, let's go, guys. Let's go, guys. And they listen. A.J. English with a quick answer.
And it's hard to prepare for that because most times you score at that end with Fortunato's basket. You know, you kind of jog back and you feel good about yourself. You cannot rest for a second because the Gales, they're running downhill coming this way every possession.
With the discussion in college basketball this year about possibly reducing the shot clock. Foul on Lowry will send Miles to the line. This Iona team doesn't even consider the shot clock, but maybe a couple of times a game.
A good drive as once again Anthony Miles has been aggressive, the natural lefty, able to finish through contact with his right hand.
Now he can fill it up. Joined the 1,000 point club back early in the season against Rice in the Cable Car Classic. He's now got 12 here today. Third team all-conference as announced earlier this week. Sledge got lucky not to have turned it over. English the pull-up. Miles has his pass knocked away, and Tavon Sledge whistled for the foul. We have reached our under 4 media timeout here in Springfield, Massachusetts. Welcome back to the MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Pepsi Max. Our first quarterfinal has Iona leading Ryder by 11. MAAC fans, next season the Manhattan Jaspers will play in the Hall of Fame tip-off tournament at Mohegan Sun Arena. And Rider University is a participant in the Old Spice Classic at the HP Fieldhouse down at Disney in Orlando, Florida. Coming up on our halftime report, as you saw there, we'll have a conversation with MAAC Commissioner Rich Enser as the relationship, Rob, between the MAAC and ESPN continues to grow and grow digitally. The new dedicated MAAC channel and MAAC app with MAAC exclusive content. There's David Lowry, who has played well along with his Iona teammates. Miles, Sadler, Taylor, Fortunat, and Pereira, the 5 on the floor for the 8th seeded Ryder Bronx. Sadler playing on a couple of bad knees this year, misses short on the jump shot.
And also feeling the effects of a little flu bug, so he's not at 100%.
Lowry working on Fortunat. And Fortunat, not accustomed to playing perimeter defense, picks up the foul. Fortunat 6'9", 235. Grew up in Montreal, but played his high school basketball in Philadelphia. Among the schools and programs that pursued David Lowry, Western Kentucky actually committed to the Hilltoppers initially. Also committed to UMass for a time. I know Baylor was involved for a while. Had all sorts of big-time programs that were interested in this young man. He was a New Jersey native and showing his skill set. Challenging for a double-double here in the first half alone. So Rob, down by 13 with 2:40 to go in the half. What is Ryder's goal at this point?
You got to try to get yourself to a single-digit deficit heading into the locker room. But a couple of things you got to do. You got to figure out how to guard at this end, and they haven't been able to do that. And then they've got to be patient on the offensive end. Iona doesn't want to guard you for 35 seconds in the shot clock, and at times Ryder is obliged by taking quick shots. Kevin Baggett's team's got to be a little bit more patient, I believe, on the offensive end. It's one thing to score quickly in transition, but then when that's not there, then make them work through the possession.
Well, Ryder had a 7-0 run earlier in the half to cut the lead down to 4. But since that time, Iona has responded well. The winner of this ball game will advance to the semifinal round to take on the winner of our next quarterfinal. That'll pit Billy Barron and the Canisius Golden Griffins against the Siena Saints in the 4-5 game. Stewart double team.
They've doubled every time out of the zone when the ball's gone down to Stewart on the post.
Valentine perhaps took his eye off the basketball.
Tell you what, the Gales have been active in their zone defense. Good at closeouts, getting out to shooters. Their defense has bothered Ryder.
Now, Rob, on that double team of Stewart, Lowry immediately backed off from Stewart's blind side. Stewart didn't feel that the double team wasn't there anymore. Why did Lowry back off? Is that by design?
I'm not sure if that was by design. Certainly the second guy coming in was by design. But sometimes as a defender, you want to disengage because as a post defender, if you're leaning against the offensive guy, well, he knows which way to spin, which way to turn to drop step on you. But when you disengage, now a lot of times guys don't look over their shoulder to locate you quick enough.
Because in that circumstance, Stewart, had he known, could have just turned and shot, but didn't realize because, as you say, he disengaged. Miles hit the side of the backboard, fortunate to have it come back. A little better look that time for 3.
Well, he's single-handedly trying to keep him in this ball game. There's this half-court trap early in the ball game. They struggled because of plays like that. They just passed the ball too well. Lowry out at the point here, able to get the ball into the high post to that trap. I'm not so sure the Gales are a team that you can have a lot of success trapping a basketball, whether it's three-quarter court or whether it's half court. Here's a look underneath. Good spacing. You get it to the high post, and everybody shares the basketball.
There's not a bad passer amongst the bunch.
Nope, they average nearly 18 assists per game. 4th best in the country, and you can see why.
Three games already in the books. First round games played on Thursday, and then you see coming up a little bit later on, Canisius against Siena, and then tonight, Manhattan, the preseason favorite, and a very strong number 2 seed will take on a St. Peter's team that is really moving in the right direction. John Dunn's club is on a roll, and then Quinnipiac against Niagara. On the bottom side of that bracket, what do you see, Ron?
Well, certainly coming in, Manhattan's been playing good basketball, but as you said, Peacocks have won 5 in a row. St. Peter's playing good basketball. The other thing that I think will be most intriguing is how does Quinnipiac bounce back? They lost Dumar Shannon in the second to last game of the season, a loss at home against Siena. And then without him, and then with limited minutes from their all-conference player, Ike Azatam, they just got their doors blown off up at Marist. But they've got a little time now to regroup. It'll be interesting to see how the Bobcats respond and play tonight.
Another three-pointer by Trey Bowman. He's now got 17 points. Final possession for the Gales, who will walk it up. The only time.
I was just thinking the same thing. You don't often see Tim Cluse put his hands up for stop. It's usually like the third base coach waving them through.
Yeah, I'm surprised English recognized a stop sign from the coach.
Look at that.
Lowry slips the screen, and there's no foul called. He can't believe it, but smartly, after hopping once, handed the basketball over and headed to the locker room. All Iona up 16 as we head to break. Our halftime report after this. Trey Bowman's 17 points lead the Iona Gales, who enjoy a 16-point halftime lead over the Rider Broncs. Our first men's quarterfinal of the MAAC championships, and Bowman standing by with Mitch Bonaguro.
Trey, great half, great defensive half. What did the coach say to you guys in terms of guarding this Rider team?
We wanted to come out with a lot of energy, focus on the defense, because we know defense is going to win the game. So that's what we're trying to do this half.
The other thing, great passing against their 1-2-2 press. You were getting a lot of layups off feeds from the middle. Is that something you guys had worked on?
Yeah, all week we worked against trying to break down their press, go 2-1-2, do a lot of different things to break their press.
Congratulations, and have a good second half.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mitch. Bowman 5 of 6 from the floor, including 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. His 17 points, a big part of the reason why the top-seeded Iona Gales are well in control here at the break. Come back with more of our halftime report from the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Look what the wind doing. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, match. Oh, baby.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history, where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
I'm excited for college, but financially, it's going to be a little hard. I have to apply for scholarships, definitely. Money's kind of a big topic for us for college.
Job placement is really important, especially in today's economy, because I want to work as soon as I can to work off the debt and do, what I want to start doing for a living. I want to have the nice progression from, school to college to my life.
Well, look what the wind doing. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, match. Oh, baby.
And welcome back to the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts, here at the MAAC Championships, and pleased to be joined now by the Commissioner of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, Rich Enser. And Commissioner, the relationship between the MAAC and ESPN just continues to grow, and I want you to explain to the viewers what that means in terms of a new ESPN app with the MAAC.
Well, just last month, ESPN rolled out the MAAC-branded channel. What they're doing now is going to give the league a site where when you go on there, it's just not our TV listings, but also our archive games, video highlights from a given week,
upcoming games, and even just features that the schools are doing on individual players or coaches. So it's really a great advancement for the MAAC. And the fact that they've invested so much in our league is just a sign of how our partnership continues to grow.
The content is not just, though, men's and women's basketball. It's other sports as well, correct?
No, while we are always a basketball conference, you're right, Doug. It's going to be all the sports, although initially focused on basketball because we also have to develop the content for the Olympic sports. As you know, we do a lot down at Disney, so we'll have golf coming up relatively soon. But our schools, as they start to build on-campus studios and start having capability to do ESPN3 broadcasts, which is part of this plan, then we're going to be able to get all those different sports much more coverage so their fans and families can see them throughout the country.
Rich, why is it important for the MAAC to be branded with ESPN and with Disney?
Well, we just got so involved with them 20 years ago. We wanted to be associated with the best brands in sports, and we thought ESPN certainly is that brand. We were able to get involved with them early with ESPNU, and we have that Friday night window now. And then when ESPN3 became available, we were very aggressive in getting involved. We do over 40 broadcasts now. And as we move forward with this new branded channel, we will just expand that. There will come a point in the next 5 years where almost any game the MAAC is involved in is going to be on ESPN3 on the Watch ESPN branded MAAC channel.
And Rich, what's your read on how the fans are getting more and more accustomed to finding ESPN3?
Well, that's something, a relationship to demographics, I think, particularly the age. I think anybody under the age of 25 is looking at their sports on their handheld or tablet. The computer's an option. But at my house, at least, my son set up the Xbox One, and now I have all my ESPN3 right along the bottom of the screen, and I just scroll back and forth between games, archive games. It's a great tool once you get used to it. But there is that educational period, and we've been aggressively trying to get out the messaging. And now that it's available on Apple TV and Roku, and as they move it out onto other apps and other delivery mechanisms, I think that'll just become very easy. It's all about convergence. You don't really care how the signal gets to the TV as long as you're getting it. It can come through the internet or Wi-Fi or a cable. It doesn't really matter, but we want to be able to get all MAAC sports to our fans all the time.
Okay, thanks so much, Mr. Commissioner.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, that's Rich Ensler, the Commissioner of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. We'll be right back to Springfield after this.
Division I basketball returns to Springfield this March. The MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, where somebody could become an NCAA champion. March 6th through the 10th, Mass Mutual Center in Springfield.
Gets it off from midcourt.
Get your tickets for the MAAC Basketball Championship and get into the action all the way to the finish at Ticketmaster.com, Massachusetts.com, or the Mass Mutual Center box office. Presented by Mass Mutual Financial Group.
Fulfill your educational goals on a 22-acre private residential campus just minutes away from the world's economic, cultural, communications, and entertainment center, New York City. For more than 160 years, Manhattan College has promised a Lasallian Catholic education featuring 5 schools of study that challenge students to excel academically while providing career opportunities second to none. Find out what Manhattan College can promise your future.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Oh, brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
We are St. Peter's University, a place where students who are eager to learn are taught by people who care, on a campus designed for both to thrive. We're proud to offer incredible learning opportunities and life-changing experiences, and that means our students are prepared to succeed in their fields, in their communities, and all over the world. Get to know St. Peter's University, the Jesuit University of New Jersey.
Back in Springfield, Massachusetts, Iona with a 16-point lead at the intermission in our first men's quarterfinal. With Rob Kennedy, I'm Doug Sherman, and we certainly saw the Gales at their best both ends of the floor.
Well, especially offensively. Passing the ball so crisp. Every time that Ryder tried to mix things up, whether they went three-quarter court trap, half-court trap, they got so extended that the Gales just picked them apart.
Okay, let's show you the highlights, beginning with Trey Bowman, who was nearly perfect in that first half.
Yeah, how about 17 points? We talked about the fact that maybe the coaches forgot about him for a second, kept him off the third team all-league. Well, he's certainly shown you why he probably should have been there. And the Gales just spread you out with so many guys. Sean Armand with that NBA range. They had it going offensively. For Ryder, not much going offensively, except for their senior Anthony Miles. He was 3 of 4 done from beyond the three-point line. Biggest problem for the Bronx, his teammates were 0 for 8. This from a team that usually shoots it well from beyond the three, but struggled there in the first half, just 3 of 12. And as we said, those 3 from Miles.
Iona shooting 56% in that first half at 15 for 27, 50% from beyond the three-point line. Excellent foul shooting as well. Only 2 turnovers. Very impressive first 20 minutes for the Gales. Back with the second half after this. Welcome back to the 2014 MAAC Basketball Championship presented by Pepsi Max. We're at the Mass Mutual Center in Springfield, Massachusetts. Our score 50-34 Iona leading Ryder. We send it back over to Mitch Bonaguro standing by with Ryder senior Anthony Miles.
Anthony, I only came out and played that little 2-3 zone. You got some open looks. What are you going to have to do a little better in the second half to get some more baskets?
I don't think it's about our offense right now. I think it's about our defense. We need to focus on getting stops. They're getting a lot of open looks, and that's what Iona thrives on, so we got to stop that.
And you came out and played a little three-quarter court press, and where did they hurt you with that?
Getting the ball in the middle, and then, like I said, they're finding an open guy, and like I said, that's where they thrive at, so we got to stop that.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
MAACmerch.com is the official online store of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. This store offers championship apparel for all MAAC sports. Visit MAACmerch.com to get your fan gear today. With Rob Kennedy and Mitch Bonaguro, I'm Doug Sherman here in Springfield, Mass. And on Thursday night, Ryder found itself trailing by 8 to Monmouth. And Danny Stewart told his teammates, I am not ready to go home. Didn't want his career to end, and he had a big second half. Helped his team rally past the Hawks 71-60. Do you imagine, after Danny Stewart just had a really poor first half, 1 of 7 from the floor, only 2 points, 3 rebounds. Do you imagine the same kind of speech occurred just now in the Bronx locker room?
Oh, probably. Yeah, he and Anthony Miles as the seniors. The one thing you got to say is, like, look, I know we've got ourselves dug into a hole. We got to come out and we got to fight. And if we fight, the one thing they can lean on is that they were down by 22 last time these two teams played just less than a week ago, and they came back and were able to tie the basketball game in the second half. Iona, because they play so quick, there's a lot of possessions, so you're not out of the ball game, but what you got to do, and I liked what Anthony Miles said to Mitch, we got to start guarding a little bit, and they've got to either abandon that half-court trap or they got to figure out how to keep the ball out of the middle, because it's gone into the middle and it's been layup drills.
Yep. Iona has had runs, Rob, of 9-0, 7-0, 5-0, and 7-0. That's a pretty good formula for winning a basketball game.
And that's one of the things that Kevin Baggett talked about earlier today. It's like, we've got to stop runs. A couple of things. We can't have a ton of runs, and then we can't allow one of those 12-0 or 14-0. Well, they didn't necessarily get that 15-0 run, but they let too many runs as the Gales were able to string points together.
Second half underway with the Bronx with the basketball first in their road. Cranberry is the number 8 seed. Taylor, Valentine, Miles, Thomas, and Stewart. Starting 5 here. Here is Stewart, and he's called for an offensive foul. That's his third personal, and he just shrugs his shoulders. It's 16 seconds into the second half. What am I supposed to do?
Well, here he is. Good catch as he shapes up inside. That's just awful. That's just a bad call.
So now if you're Kevin Baggett, what do? You leave Stewart out there for now, but again, your senior leader has just picked up his third personal.
It's one thing if you completely lower your shoulder and knock a guy over, but he's just going strong and try to attack the rim.
Here at the other end, Sean Armand hits the 3. Armand, Bowman, Lowry, English, and Mike Poole. The 5 starters in the second half. Strong move to the hole by Khalil Thomas. He's playing with 3 fouls as well. First 2 points for the freshman from Parkway, Florida.
And here comes the trap again from Ryder. Let's see if they've cleaned things up. They'll figure out a way to keep the ball out of the middle of the floor against that extended D.
Now, obviously, Coach Baggett has decided to keep Danny Stewart on the floor, at least for now. And if it was you, Rob, what would you do with Danny now with those 3 personals?
I'd keep him on the floor. I mean, you've got to make a run here within the next few minutes. Get yourself back in the ball game. You don't want him sitting next to you, but you got to guard him. You know, we talk about, whether it's out of man zone, sometimes you just got to lock down and lock your man.
Sean Armand with 5 quick points here in the second half. Stewart with his second field goal. How about that move we just saw Sean Armand make, as Williams gets into the paint and then stepping out from long range. We talked in the first half, Rob, about the things that Armand does in his game that we wouldn't have seen in years past. That fancy finish in traffic never would have occurred in previous years.
You're right. And he wouldn't have even attacked the rim the way that he did, let alone finish once he got himself into traffic. The perfect example of a guy that committed himself in the offseason to expand his game. If more guys did that, you'd have more complete players.
And Lowry just continues to abuse Thomas on the post.
Oh, and somebody's either got to double down on him. The problem is, if you do that, he's such a good passer, but you're right. He's got good skies, and he's just backing you in. He is old school. Little half spin in the post. I mean, he's got a funky game, and it works.
I think that Jeff Ruland, of all people in this building right now, can appreciate some of the things David Lowry does. You had a chance to talk with Rules at halftime. He's scouting for his old franchise, now the Wizards. He used to play for the Washington Bullets. But Rules was not a guy who went up above the rim very regularly. I'm guessing he appreciates the things he sees out of David Lowry.
Yeah, Rules, when he played, was as good at using his body, angles, and leaning up against guys as anybody that played. An NBA All-Star because of his ability to position himself.
Tough finish for Taylor and a chance for three.
Good finish through traffic as Taylor, the freshman, continues his fine play. Had a bit of a lull mid-season, and his confidence wasn't there. I remember doing a game mid-season against St. Peter's where Kevin Baggett said, I just said to him, look, if you don't take more than 10 field goal attempts, I'm going to be totally ticked off. Like, you've got the green light. You got to play with some confidence. From that point forward, he certainly is a guy that's been playing with great confidence.
Strong finish for Miles. At 16 points now to lead the Bronx. English. Tough shot. Fortunat into the ball game with a rebound.
Yeah, good call. That was a tough shot. Hide behind that ball screen. Didn't need it.
Stewart, the extra pass to find his classmate Miles, who continues to fill it up.
That's a way to share the basketball, make the extra pass, and ride the hot guy.
And this the second 7-0 run of the game for the Bronx. Back to within a dozen.
The last time they had a 7-0 run, they let Iona go on an 8-0 run themselves. Let's see if they can back it up. They're not going to be able to back it up if you don't guard anybody.
Talk about valuable people on this very deep Iona roster. Isaiah Williams missed 5 games this year for personal reasons. They lost 4 of those 5 games. Otherwise, they're nearly unbeaten.
Yeah, 19-5 with him in the lineup, and even better when he starts at 17-3.
Valentine connects for 2.
That's a tough-looking shot. Speaking of what you were talking about earlier in the game, Doug, a guy that's got a good upside potential. He's got to have a good offseason to make that big jump from his sophomore to junior year.
Yes, Coach Brady said he has too much movement on the jump shot. In terms of his body, what does he mean by that? Too much movement.
Well, sometimes you got to get yourself and not have your arm out and some extra motion. You've got to have a fluid shot. And right now he's got a little jerk in his shot. A little hitch that you got to clean up.
Anthony Miles does not want his college career to end this afternoon in Springfield, doing everything he can.
Well, look what the wind doing. Putting the team back together. And we need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
And I wanted to stay in the entertainment sector, so I looked at schools in New York, and Iona stood out. Iona offered a wonderful opportunity, Career Mentor Day. I met an alum who was the senior vice president at CBS. Within a week, I had an interview, and from there, I was able to get in my current position. Iona is definitely responsible for my place here and my future here.
Outstanding internships, supported by an active alumni base, are just one reason Iona graduates are helping to move the world.
At Quinnipiac University, we offer the warmth and spirit of a small town. You feel it the moment you step on our picturesque campus and a team of upperclassmen helps you move into your freshman dorm. You feel it in the dining areas as students and faculty share meals together. And you can cheer with your friends and Boomer the Bobcat at many of our exciting NCAA Division I sporting events. This is Quinnipiac University, where you're part of our community.
Well, look what the wind doing. Putting the team back together. And we need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
Back at the Mass Mutual Center, Ryder has cut the lead down to 12, trying to hang with the regular season champs from Iona. And before break, I mentioned the assistant coach for Ryder, who has been helping a number of the players with a shot. I said Coach Brady, I meant Coach Griffin. That's John Griffin, whose father was the Siena head coach when Matt Brady was the point guard at Siena. Griffin, actually John Griffin, was born in Albany back when his dad was the coach at Siena. And they have paths that have crossed, and I had the wires mixed up in my head. So I know the difference between Coach Griffin and Coach Brady, but it's Coach Griffin who is the one that's really been working with guys like Sean Valentine and Danny Stewart. And he says Stewart is as good an example as he has seen in his time as a coach of being able to really harness your ability and turn yourself into a very good shooter.
Yeah, a guy that didn't even take three-point shots his first 2 seasons. Now this year with 25 makes, and that's because he went into the gym and worked on his game.
Spent a lot of time last summer with one of his brothers at Drexel when he was home off of campus back in Philly. Also doing work on his own to Danny Stewart. And it has been paying dividends, although he has just picked up his 4th personal foul. And again, his coach is allowing him to stay on the floor and play. Valentine with the steal from Armand. Stewart throwing it down.
Well, staying aggressive despite those 4 fouls. Nice unselfish play by Miles. Doug, we said Iona plays fast and there's a lot of possession, so if you can get some stops, you're going to have some opportunities to score it at the other end. Well, somebody better go find Trey Bowman. He's taken out, being kept off an all-league team by the coaches. He's taking it out on the floor right now.
And taking it out on the Bronx. That's 20 now for Trey Bowman. And they have certainly found the softest spot of that Rider defense. The corners have been wide open all too often. Fortunat misses the jump hook. And Lowry has himself a double-double. Lowry now 16 points, 10 rebounds.
Nearly another corner jumper.
Armand again with the upper body strength to challenge the bigs and get himself to the line.
And all he's got to do is just hesitate for a second, and throughout the scouting report, close out, get a hand up. He's a great shooter. And because he is, now you can be a versatile offensive player. And one of the things that Tim Cluse preaches is guys got to be able to dribble, pass, and shoot. When you do that, now all of a sudden you put 5 of them out there. Your offense looks as good as the Gales' offense looks at times.
Now, since Tim Cluse came to Iona, he has not recruited a true back-to-the-basket big. And this is another team where you've got David Lowry, who's a face-the-basket. Well, I shouldn't even put him into that category.
Yeah, he's hard to put into any category. He's so funky.
But do you think it's by design that he and the coaches, because they keep such a pace, don't want to have a 6'10" big out there?
Yeah, good question. I think it's a combination of 2 things. It's hard at this level sometimes to find a back-to-the-basket big post guy that can be effective and score the basketball inside. If you're 6'10" and you can really post up and score it, a lot of times you're in the ACC, Big East, that kind of thing. As well, because they play so fast, he doesn't want to slow their team down with a guy that's got to wait to get up the floor.
But a guy like Adam Kemp at Marist, one of the traditional bigs, a 6'10" wide body, effective in the post, wouldn't fit in as well with this Iona bunch probably, right?
Yeah.
With the style of play?
Most likely. But one thing about Tim Cluse is he's a creative offensive coach. Mm-hmm. And so if he had a post guy that could score it with his back to the basket, I think he'd figure out a way to work him into it.
When he took over the program 4 years ago, they had a young man who fit that bill, a guy named Chris Pelcher, who wound up transferring to the University of New Hampshire and became an all-conference player in the America East. And I just wonder, had he stayed, how would that have worked out? And I know coaches change jobs, players change schools, and it's a very transient world. But I'm just curious how Coach Cluse would figure that out to get an effective big into this offense, which is so efficient as it is.
Yeah, who do you guard David Lowry with, right? I mean, if you put a big on him like Fortunat, he comes out to the perimeter, puts it to the floor. Take a look at Iona's scoring balance. 4 guys averaging more than 13 per game. Man, oof. Only one of 6 teams in the country with 4 guys that can stretch it out. And that 4th guy, Trey Bowman, just went for 20 so far here tonight. 7th time this season he's gone for more than 20.
And by the way, Bowman's career high is 29 points at Florida Gulf Coast back in December, so that is certainly within reach. They've already got 3 in this ball game with 16 or more, Rob. English, Bowman, Armand, Lowry, and Williams. Another 3 for Armand.
Well, they get the ball into the paint. They've gotten paint touches all game long. Put it into the middle of the zone defense, collapse them, and if you collapse off those perimeter jump shooters, you're in trouble.
Valentine back out from Miles. Ball trickles off the rim to Lowry. Open look again from the corner, and again it's Williams for 3.
And again it's another Iona run as they string them together.
Now 4 Gales in double figures. 11:23 to go in regulation.
That's not the shot you need. In the half court, you got to make them work on the defensive end.
Taylor called for the foul, and that'll take us to break. Tim Cluse's Gales up 71-53, eyeing a spot in the MAAC semis.
I got the personal attention I needed. I had a lot of options when I graduated. And as far as I'm concerned, this is my dream job.
Ryder prepared me for my NBA career. And I also got the education that I need for life after basketball.
I had 6 teaching internships while I was at Ryder. And right after graduation, I started a career that I love.
It's knowing that you will always compete against the best while making you become the best that you can be. It's about joining a family with a storied history where athletics and academics are held to the highest of standards. It's about creating the future leaders of tomorrow, all with the focus on one goal: graduation. It's the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Iona with a 71-53 lead, second half of our first quarterfinal. Last night here in Springfield, Tim Cluse was named the MAAC Coach of the Year. He's standing by with our Mitch Bonaguro.
Tim, great passing against their three-quarter court press. You got a ton of corner threes. Was that your game plan going in?
Yeah, we did. We wanted to attack and be more aggressive against, and our guys are doing a good job sharing the ball.
What would be the concern now that you've had 2 big leads on them in the other 2 games coming down the stretch?
You know, obviously, they're a very good team, and they're going to be runs in this game of basketball. We got to limit their runs, and we got to continue to attack and be aggressive.
Good luck down the stretch.
Thank you very much.
MAAC fans, next season, the Manhattan Jaspers will play in the Hall of Fame tip-off tournament at Mohegan Sun Arena. And Ryder is a participant in the Old Spice Classic at the HP Fieldhouse in Orlando, Florida. A couple of exempt events that the MAAC has done a tremendous job getting its member schools into, and an important time of year to try and get yourself ready for conference play. Sean Armand has been terrific today. He's a big part of what the Iona offense does, and he's up to 19 points, Rob.
And he's got such great range and a great stroke. I mean, he catches the ball and he's in rhythm. He makes everything look easy. Well, it is easy when they get the ball to the high post. And David Lowry again sharing the basketball. Their ability to collapse that zone defense and then throw it out to the likes of Sean Armand, who's 4 of 7 for beyond the 3, and Trey Bowman, who's 4 of 6 beyond the 3. That's why they are so good offensively.
As a team, they are 10 for 20 from beyond the arc. Poole back into the game for Iona. English trying to join his teammates. He's the only one who's not been able to find the range. Bowman, what a hesitation move. And the finish.
Yeah, nice little head fake to get the defender in the air. Even smiled on that one.
He's a young man who started his college career as a Nittany Lion and having a big senior season here at Iona. Miles, did he take an extra step?
No, I don't think so. He just covered a lot of ground.
He takes long strides.
Yeah, he does stride it. Here's this nice play off the long rebound by Bowman, and a little shake and bake.
I moved a little in my chair on that fake.
Yeah, he just, you know, because they play back-to-back nights, he's not quite sure whether or not they're going to see that one in film. You know, regular season, you're going to wind that back about 8 times in a film session. He's still smiling about that one.
Well, he has had a tremendous game so far. Leading all scorers as Danny Stewart takes a moment to try and get his eye right. Bowman was also recruited by Tubby Smith at Minnesota. He forged a relationship with Tubby Smith and says that he is one of his inspirations, that he wants to get into coaching someday. Bowman would like to coach once his playing days are done. Yeah, the rebounds for Danny Stewart with only the greatest player in Rider history ahead of him, current Sacramento King. What a nice career he's carved out. Even though on the East Coast we don't see him all that much, he has been a solid type of 10, 11, 12 point, 6, 7, 8 rebound type of guy. And with his skill set, he can have a real good career as he's having in the NBA. Whistle against Mike Poole. And I also know Jason Thompson keeps close touch with his former coach, Don Harnum, now the athletic director at Rider University. Very proud alumnus of Rider.
And you see Jason Thompson's numbers, over 2,000 points, second all time. Talk about Don Harnum sporting a little bit of beard right now as his women's team on a run. They've gotten themselves to the semifinals, and he said they won't let him shave.
I just thought he forgot his razor left at home.
You know, coaches are always superstitious, but apparently ADs, it carries over as well.
Well, Don Harnum was the guy who recruited Jason Thompson. Got him out of South Jersey, got him to stay home, and then throughout his 4-year career, as he blossomed into an NBA lottery pick, was able to keep him home, keep him at Rider, and have a terrific 4-year run.
And then his brother Ryan backed it up, was another all-time Rider great. The best thing that Don did is he got Jason to grow 6 inches after he recruited him.
What a move by Poole. The spin for the former Rutgers Scarlet Knight.
But again, it's in space because you've got 4 guys out on the perimeter, and it's just too hard to guard a guy.
Stewart and Miles still fighting. That's Stewart with the putback.
And the only way you have a chance is if you keep fighting. But you also got to figure out a way to get something going at this end of the floor. Gales have carved them up like that.
It's a clinic.
Yep.
Uh-oh, the net's stuck again.
Well, hopefully the ladder's a lot closer than it was the last time. Oh, there we go. But the guy who's killed them in that half-court trap is when the ball's in Lowry's hands. Able to look over top. A lot of times it's been from the middle of the floor. That time it was from right here in front of us, just throwing right over top. As skilled as Lowry is, Doug, his best skill might be his ability to pass the ball for his side.
Yeah. And again, Manhattan coach Steve Masiello said recently that this Iona team is the best passing team he's ever seen. And that's not just 1 or 2 guards, that's everybody on the roster. Armand goes around Sadler. The extra pass again, and there's Bowman. Did Valentine get a piece? He didn't miss that badly on his own, did he? Taylor thought about it. Back to Sadler. He's got Valentine on the right.
Well, if you missed the first walk, you might as well get the second.
Well, it seemed like they were destined to turn it over on that possession one way or the other. Sledge in. Trey Bowman, who takes a seat.
Now Lowry's got Miles on him, so he posts him up. That's just great recognition by Lowry and great recognition by his teammate.
And then how about the little shovel pass off the bounce to his cutting teammate? So Armand will go to the line when we come back to Springfield, Mass.
Well, look what the wind doing. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
The right education can inspire you to do anything. Challenge yourself. Prepare for success. This is your moment to create, explore, discover, matter to each other and to the world. Be inspired to do anything at Monmouth University, where leaders look forward.
And now my journey across the country's brought me to the lovely city of Boston. Cheers. And seeing as it's such a historic city, I'm sure they'll appreciate that Geico's been saving people money for over 75 years. Oh dear. I've dropped my tea into the Boston Harbour. I guess this party's over.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, look what the wind doing. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, man. Oh, baby.
The winner of this ball game will move on to the MAAC semifinals tomorrow afternoon, and in that game they will face either Siena or Canisius, and that's our next quarterfinal. You've got the freshman point guard Marquise Wright against the senior point guard and conference player of the year in Billy Barron.
Yeah, and certainly Canisius with a terrific regular season behind the play of Billy Barron, but the Siena Saints, one of the biggest surprises this season in the MAAC. Jimmy Patso's team playing great basketball and energized basketball coming down the stretch. And one thing with the Saints lately, you get your money's worth.
Yep.
I mean, they've had so many close games, and hopefully you expect a 4-5 to maybe be your most competitive in any bracket, in any tournament. And I think we may get that here next.
And in talking to MAAC Commissioner Rich Enser before the game, Rob, asked him if he got a sense that the large Siena fan base was going to be mobilizing this weekend to come here, and he said he felt like there was more of that this year than the first 2 years here at Springfield, that the way the team's been playing, you know, the Siena fans think, well, maybe we can knock off Canisius and make a weekend out of it.
And certainly they had a big crowd up at Quinnipiac a couple of games ago on a Thursday night. They had a couple of hundred fans that made that trip, so certainly the Siena Saints faithful, I think, is energized as well about this team.
And oh, by the way, you mentioned Quinnipiac. That is actually the nearest school to where we sit here in Springfield, and they have a solid fan base, and it'll be interesting to see how well those folks mobilize. And Commissioner Enser also was very positive about the number of Manhattan fans that are going to be making the trip up here this weekend.
Well, he said if you're going to hang in the ball game, you got to keep fighting. And certainly Danny Stewart has fought his entire career, and he's not going to stop now.
Fourth foul on Mike Poole. It'll stay down at this end. Taylor gets it back from Stewart and hoists the three. Valentine back out to Sadler. Miles catches the front rim, and again Stewart after the offensive glass. Sadler. First 3 points for the sophomore guard. 80-60. Under 7 minutes now, Rob. If you're Coach Klus up 20, when do you start thinking about tomorrow? Still 3 or 4 minutes away from that?
Yeah, still 3 or 4 minutes away from that. But you're right. They came here not to win 1 game. They came to win 3, and you got to play 3 games in 3 nights. And so managing minutes is one of the things that's a little bit different for any coach once you come into a tournament.
Miles stepped down the sideline. And so it's Iona basketball. Tim Klus has had mixed success in the 3 years here at Springfield. They did not win the championship 2 years ago, but were good enough to earn an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. And last year they were the team on that Monday night cutting down the nets. A lot of folks hoping for a rematch of what we had last year on Monday. The 1 and the 2, Iona and Manhattan, arch rivals, getting together again. Lowry spins away from Miles, and there you go.
Yeah, put that one in your highlight reel. In space, that is his unique skill set.
You mean that? As you're counting your players 1 through 5, he's number 5 positionally. That's your 5 going from midcourt off a spin through traffic and finishing with your left hand.
And so when you game plan, as I said earlier, who do you guard him with? You got to figure out what you're doing with that. If you guard him with a big, he's going to take you out onto the perimeter. And certainly if you try to guard him with somebody that might be a little bit more mobile, then he's going to be able to post him up. The one time that Miles had him defensively, where'd he go? He went right into the post. He's got a good feel for the game, besides having that terrific skill set.
Now, did he learn that growing up in East Orange? Is that innate? Has it come over time? How does a guy like David Lowry get that skill set we talk about?
Yeah, it's a combination of all 3 of those things you just mentioned, because it's not just from one thing. It's not just from playing. It's you got to have an innate sense. You got to have a feel for the game, but you also have to work at it. And the more you play and the more different situations you put yourself into, that's when you all of a sudden now can not just think about doing it, but put it into practice.
To shoot. Bowman with the charge. Valentine standing his ground.
And you get the sense, Doug, when they go spread, just like they did in that possession, that at times it almost looks like they're toying with you. Good defensive rotation by Valentine to take away the drive, but when you go start chasing them,
And this is not a Dean Smith 4 corners type of look. This is a spread you out 4 corners, knowing that as soon as we see an opening, we're going to attack and we're going to kill you.
Yeah, that's 4 to score.
Yeah. Sadler the foul, Bowman to the line. How is Iona different now than what you saw back at the start of the year, Rob?
Well, they're playing with so much more energy and confidence. Tim Klus's team is totally different, and the biggest reason when I had them early in the year was when David Lowry's first game that he came off the bench, and he played terrific in that ball game. And as we said, a calculated move by Tim Klus to take him out of the starting lineup because he wasn't playing well. Well, he's playing well right now, I can tell you that. And he's been playing well coming down the stretch. He was the back-to-back player of the week back in the beginning of February. Boy, did he look good here tonight.
There's Lowry with a block shot on Stewart.
Just to remind you. I mean, to me, that's the biggest difference. Once he started to come into play again, things took off. Remember, with Armand, they were preseason pick to finish in second, but both he and Armand were preseason first-team all-conference selections. He didn't play like that in the beginning of the year, and he's been playing like that here late in the year.
I think it's pretty clear, had he played the first 2 months like he's played the last 2 months, he would have been on the first team and would have challenged potentially for Player of the Year. Tavon Sledge showing that little guys can throw it down too.
The biggest play he made there is he made sure he boxed out Isaiah Williams to go get that basketball. He wanted that one.
He's 5'9", and he saw the opportunity. Get out of my way.
Boy, they're having some fun out there right now, Doug.
And the former Iowa State Cyclone from upstate New York, a lot of smiles he has delivered. A big slam for the Gales, who take a break. We'll step away. 87-62 Gales over the Bronx. The 2014 MAAC Basketball Championship is brought to you by Pepsi Max. 0 calories, maximum Pepsi taste. And by Anaconda Sports. Home of the Rock is proud to sponsor the MAAC. It is a beautiful afternoon in the birthplace of basketball, Springfield, Massachusetts. That's the bridge coming into downtown. As we take a look at our Pepsi Max slam of the game. Stay out of my way, Isaiah Williams. I'm coming. Tavon Sledge.
Well, and you got to defer to the little guy. And not often you get the backup point guard as your Pepsi Max slam of the game.
Well, Tavon Sledge, 5'9", 175 from Spring Valley, New York. He suffered a high ankle sprain over the summertime and then re-injured it in the opener at Cleveland State. And he was slowed by that until January. And he told me back in late January, I'm back to dunking again. Hadn't seen it until today, but there's proof that the ankle's feeling much better. Taylor thought about it. Long rebound comes to Alford. Thomas. Tap back out to Pereira. Alford hits the three.
So a season that started with a lot of promise for the Rider Broncs. They got off to a 3-0 start in the league and then raced out to 8-4 before falling apart coming down the stretch. And got a couple of good, young, talented guys, but they're going to lose. Two guys have been terrific players in their 4 years, in Miles and Stewart. Number 13 and number 14 all time on the scoring list, as those two guys are backed up against each other.
Shot clock at 2. Bowman. Well, he is nearing his career high. Trey Bowman now with 28 points. One more and he'll have his career best. Danny Stewart with the answer at the other end. And again, Bowman at 29 at Florida Gulf Coast on December 1st. He's at 28 right now. Lowry. He traveled. Immediately he looks over to the Iona bench with a smile on his face to Coach Kluse and points to his own chest saying, I know, I messed up. Take a break here in Springfield. All Iona.
Well, look what the wind blew. Putting the team back together. We need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man, match. Oh, baby.
NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets. NCAA March Madness is coming to Buffalo. Experience it live.
Brings it home.
As 8 of the top collegiate teams compete for a shot at the NCAA Sweet 16. Don't miss the buzzer beaters. As Cinderellas crash the party at the 2014 NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Championship. March 20th and 22nd at the First Niagara Center in Buffalo. Affordable tickets now available. Visit ncaa.com/MBB tickets.
Well, look what the wind blew in. Putting the team back together. And we need you. That's music to my ear.
It's too easy out here.
Oh, man. Oh, baby.
Welcome back to the MAAC Basketball Championships presented by Pepsi Max, and the top-seeded Iona Gales appear to be headed to the semifinal round thanks to an extremely efficient offensive performance, shooting 67% as a team in the second half, 60% for the game, and David Lowry's been in the middle of it all, Rob.
And he's really been a point forward at times. Against the pressure defense, they put the ball in his hands in the middle of the floor. And Tim Cluse with an opportunity to get some guys some minutes off the bench and be able to rest some of the starters.
Deshaun Gomez has come in for the first time. Also Ryden Hines, a freshman from Anchorage, Alaska. And there's Bowman, who finishes his day presumably with 28, one shy of his career high. And he was part of that barrage of threes early on that set the tone, Rob.
Yeah, he finished 5 of 9, but had 4 of those early on. And you look at the stat sheet, too. The other thing that jumps out at you, Doug, 19 assists. And so pretty much just about where they average just under 18 a game coming in. Their ability to spread you out, share the basketball, and then finish plays. Right? It's one thing you can spread the floor, you can pass it, but you don't have guys that can make shots. It doesn't work. They've got guys that can make shots.
And only 7 turnovers. With that pace they keep. Herrera, the outgoing senior for Ryder, knocks down the 3.
And that's a good point, because when you get ready to do their games and you look at the stats, that's the stat amongst everything that always jumps out at me. You know, that they play so fast, yet they value the basketball because they pass it so well, and I love their spacing.
Oh, and Stewart's career has just come to an end on an offensive foul. Let's hope Ryden Hines is okay as he holds the back of his head. Hines is thinking, why am I not still on the bench? I didn't have to worry about the back of my head.
You see the emotion there of Danny Stewart. Kevin Baggett, who recruited him as the assistant coach and has had the pleasure of coaching him as the head coach each of the last 2 years. And not only the emotion of Danny, but you see the emotion of Kevin there. Knowing that a guy is giving you everything that you've ever asked for him. And now fouling out with 12 points. And that's what we talked about, Doug, the finale of it. Now, it seems like your career started just yesterday, and now it's over.
I talked to him a month and a half ago about it, and he couldn't believe at that time there were only 11 games to go. And then I talked to him again, it's only 7 games to go, and it does fly by. Hines missed the layup. Let's see if Coach Baggett now takes the opportunity to get his other seniors out of the game to allow them to get a round of applause from the folks who've made the trip here to Massachusetts from Central Jersey. And there goes Tommy Pereira. We should mention Tommy Dempsey was the head coach at the time that these 3 young men were recruited to Ryder. Coach Baggett was on the staff. And Coach Dempsey now the head coach at Binghamton. Grant Ellis is checked in for the Gales as well. He's number 11 in white. Xavier Lundy has come in for Ryder, as well as Brandon Channer. And now we'll see Emerson Bursis come in, and there goes the third member of this class of 2014. Three good guys, fine young men who've represented the Rider University Athletic Department extremely well over the last 4 years.
Miles and Stewart with over 1,400 points in their career. Talk about how close they were as teammates throughout their 4-year career, and they'll remain close in the record books. Stewart at 13th overall, and right behind him, appropriately so, Miles at number 14 all-time in Rider history.
Yeah, lifelong friends. They got to campus before they were freshmen, the two of them, before Pereira got there from England. And so they kind of had bonded by the time Pereira got there, and then they indoctrinated Pereira by picking on him over his accent for a couple of weeks. And they have become the best of friends, the three of them, and they will be lifelong friends. Channer fouled. And for Tim Kloos, reason to smile, as the entire second half has been reason to smile, as they've led comfortably, up by 16 at the break. And they will have a date tomorrow afternoon in the semifinals with the winner of our next game between Canisius and Siena.
And looking forward, they split the regular season matchup against the Golden Griffs and were able to sweep Iona. Excuse me, sweep Siena.
Foul called on Channer in his exuberance just to be out on the floor. Sledge was not trying to score, but he will go to the line with a chance to get a couple of more points. Now, we will say, Rob, over the next couple of days, survive and advance many times. This game for Iona, not so much survival, just fine-tuning and getting yourself ready for the semis.
Yeah, they really didn't have much game pressure on them because they handled the basketball so well and shot it so well right from the get-go. They came ready to play.
It's the most points scored by a team in a MAAC tournament game in 3 years, the 94. And another foul given up will give Emerson Bursis an opportunity to get a crooked number in the box score. That'll do it. Iona, the #1 seed, moves on to the semifinal round. 94-71 your final score.
And they were impressive. Efficient offensively, shared the basketball, and showed you why they're the #1 seed coming in. Putting up another terrific offensive performance with 94 points.
So let's take a look at the updated brackets. Iona, the first to punch its ticket into the semifinal round.
Well, the Gales have been the best team throughout the regular season, going 17-3. And Doug, they showed you exactly why they were so good in the regular season. Their balance, their depth, and their offensive efficiency. All three of those big things were on display today.
Okay, let's send it over to Mitch, standing by with the winning coach, Tim Kloos.
Ready to go?
Go ahead, Mitch.
Timmy, really impressive performance on both ends of the floor. Were you real happy with your defense?
Yeah, I was. I thought our defense got us going and made a statement early on, and we made them take difficult shots, and I was really proud of them.
I thought as the game wore on, Dave became more of a factor. You got the ball in his hands. He made some nice plays, drawing and kicking. The corner three, do you guys really work on that?
We work on a lot of shooting. We put them up pretty quickly. We have guys who have confidence, and I think when we start making them, it opens up the lanes more for Dave to have those opportunities, and then he can go to work better.
I thought a couple of guys off the bench gave you good minutes. Poole, I know that's been an issue, and as you move forward, that'll be important.
Yeah, I thought Tavon Sledge gave us great energy off the bench, and he hasn't played a lot lately because we didn't have that energy coming from him all the time, but he had a good week of practice, and we decided to give him a shot today, and he did great.
Okay, congratulations, Tim.
Thanks very much.
David, great performance. I was really impressed with your passing ability. I know Coach Kluse puts the ball in your hand. Are you comfortable with that?
Yes, I'm comfortable with having the ball in my hands. Before I got here, I was a guard. Well, he still uses me as a guard, so I'm very comfortable with the ball in my hands. I just like to I like to get my teammates involved.
As you move forward, in the tournament now, your defense is going to be important. I thought you guys really gave a great effort on the defensive end.
Oh, without a doubt. Everybody came out. They came out with a lot of energy and effort and got after it. The biggest thing to me was the communication. Everybody was out there, and it starts with Sean and trickles down to everybody. Me, AJ, and everybody were playing cohesive. So.
Well, it was a great performance. Congratulations. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate it, you guys. Have a good day.
All right, thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Dave Lowry. Hope you have a nice day. I think he's going to have a nice day because he's just had a tremendous performance helping the Iona Gales move on to the semis. 94-71 is the final score. So again, your impressions, Rob, is the Gales offense really was terrific and the defense was solid as well.
Yeah, their defense got things going early, but their offense was lights out. The way they moved the basketball. And again, they've got so many weapons. How do you game plan against it? Who are you going to take away? You're going to take away Sean Armand? Well, fine. He's going to find somebody else. And when David Lowry plays like that, with energy and enthusiasm, and they were able to play through him by putting the ball in his hands, boy, they're tough to beat.
Okay, once again, our final score from here in Springfield, Massachusetts. The Iona Gales win it 94-71. Join us later today for our next MAAC Basketball Championship broadcast on ESPN3. Coverage starts at 2:30 with our second men's quarter between Canisius and Siena. For Rob Kennedy, Mitch Monaguro, and our entire crew, I'm Doug Sherman saying so long from Springfield, Massachusetts. The proceeding has been a presentation of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.